Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Career Coach Office Hours for May 21st. Let's try that again. May 21st, 2021. I used to work as a recruiter, did it for what felt like 100 years, and now I coach people. And people send me questions all the time, and I try to get to them during the week, but I've got a coaching schedule, I've a writing schedule, a podcasting schedule. I've got a lot of things on my plate, plus trying to have a life as well. And I'll just simply say some questions I don't get to right away. So I'm using office hours to respond to questions. So if you've got one for me, email it to thebiggamehunter@gmail.com. In the subject line, put something like office hours, or I've got a question for you, something along those lines that lets me know that you've got a question I need to deal with. If I don't get to it during the week, I'll try and cover it in office hours on Friday morning. Okay. So I've got a bunch of questions that were sent to me. And if you've got one and you happen to be catching this live, put it in chat and I'll try and respond to it while I'm here. Okay. So the first question is, how do I negotiate higher pay at an initial interview? Cool question. And I'm curious about negotiating salary at an initial interview when they don't really know anything about you and you don't really know anything about them. So think about it for a second. How are the two of you negotiating with one another, except they're trying to talk you down, you're trying to talk yourself up, but you have no sense of the value proposition either of you can offer one another, right? So often a firm, particularly a screener, is there trying to get you for as little as possible, right? So they're going to say, so how much are you looking for? And you're going to tell them, and they're going to wince, right? And you're going to go, that seems like a lot for what you do. You want to be a little flexible. And your goal is not to negotiate against yourself. Your goal is to push off and say, it's hard for me to really answer that question honestly, because I haven't met my future boss, don't really know about the job other than what a recruiter told me or what I saw in an ad. And, I have no sense of the team, the environment. So for me to answer that question now, in theory, I can say yes, but in practice, after I meet with everyone, I can really say yes, or I can really say no. I got to stick with my guns because, frankly, this doesn't seem as expansive as I've been led to believe. So the idea is to dance off of the question. And in terms of at the first interview, which is what this question is about, how do you negotiate? Your job is not to be talked down. As things progress, as they become more interested, then using a metaphor from olden days, we can talk about negotiating the dowry up. How many more goats can you get? How many more sheep can they cough up? And that's the idea here, is you have to make them fall in love, because no love and they're not going to offer you much money, right? So your job is not to make them talk you down and to dance off of that. And your job from that point on is to impress the heck out of them. So that way, when you're starting to negotiate up, they're very willing to do that. Next question. Is there any reason why I shouldn't apply to all the jobs I'm interested in now as soon as possible so I know the response either way? Not a greatly formed question, but let me just try and answer it as best as I can. Should you apply to all the jobs that you're interested in now? Yeah, but if you're going to send the same resume to every job that you see there, it's like the broken watch that's right twice a day. You're not going to get results. You're a spammer at that point, because the same resume is not right for every job. It's missing things, or it has too much of one thing. You want to tailor it for each submission. So what I normally encourage people to do is to have one long resume. And that's the one that you put online. It's designed to draw people to you. And then from there, as you apply to things, And I'm not a big fan of going through the applicant tracking system, although I suspect that's what this person's going to do. But as you apply to things, you want to provide a customized resume that demonstrates your fit for the role. And it's really that simple. Everything should be tailored for a specific job to emphasize things that they care about so that you're not distracting them with extraneous things and you're focused in on what matters to them. So, can you do that? Yeah, you can send that same resume over and over again, but you'll get the results that you deserve. Next question. I'm applying for multiple jobs. If I get an offer, how do I tell the employer I want to wait and see the results from my other applications? So you're at the end of the process. And when you're talking about other applications, you're talking about the beginning of the process, right? So they're not going to sit around waiting for weeks. I want to be clear about that. Maybe you can get a week out of them, but waiting for everything else that you have out there? No, they're not going to do that. What they want to do is to close out a need that they have. And if you say, I've got 24 resumes out there or 4 resumes out there I want to hear from, they get a pretty clear idea that they're your last choice. That you want to. It's kind of like on Shark Tank, where someone makes an offer, and is it okay if I talk to these other people and see what they're going to offer? No. I gave you what you want, and why wouldn't you pick mine? Well, maybe I can get something better. Well, they get that message, and on Shark Tank, offers get pulled, right? And if they're really anxious, sometimes they get improved upon, but that's not going to happen with you. That's the reality to it. They're not going to sit around waiting for you to decide, okay, I'll take this job. They want to close it out. So how can you stall? I'm very close to completing with a couple of others. And frankly, I'd like to think about this for a few days and circle back to you, and you tell them when you'll have a decision for them. And that's the best that you can do. Now, I got 2 questions that were kind of in tandem. Oh, actually, let me do this one first. How long should one search for an ideal job until it's time to pick one and move on? So let me start with the premise that, are you wealthy? Or do you have a lot of money set aside? If you do, no problem. You can turn things down without any problem whatsoever and say, not quite right for me, I'm going to continue to look. Or you can negotiate something better. But in searching for the ideal job, no such thing. They all have problems. Most of these jobs exist because someone left it because it was not an ideal job for them. So what you want to be doing is finding something appropriate and talking with people in the group to understand what it's really like to work there so that there are no surprises. Surprises are really good, right? So when you think about how long should you search for the ideal job, well, in theory, as long as it takes, but since you probably don't have independent means, think in terms of the good enough job. And I say the good enough job, not because it should be a bad job with bad people and completely dead end, but you want to take something that's good where you feel you can succeed at a compensation level that makes sense for you. If you have the financial wherewithal to stay out for a while and conditions are good, well, frankly, turn it down. But if you think the pandemic times where it was a miracle to get a job offer during April or May 2020, and matter of fact, it was a miracle to even get an interview. I was telling people, take whatever you get and ride out the hurricane. And then from there, you can make another move. Smart decision that these folks made because they got to work and now they're looking because things have cleared up. They're vaccinated, yada, yada, yada. So from your standpoint, how long should you search? I don't think there's an ideal job out there. So you've got to be a big girl or a big boy and bite the bullet and make a choice. And that can be the choice to turn it down or the choice to say yes. Now, these are the 2 questions that are paired with one another. Why are job interviews so difficult for me? How can I improve my interview skills? It's the same question phrased a little bit differently. So let me start with the premise of why are interviews so difficult for me? The skills needed to find the job, including interviewing, are different than those needed to do a job. And as such, the reason you don't interview well is you never learned how to interview. Now, I happen to have a great course on Udemy that you can find at thebiggamehunter.us/interviews. Take the course. It is extremely good. It'll help you very much. You can also order as a paperback on Amazon. It's called The Ultimate Job Interview Framework. That's the name of the course. That's the name of the paperback and Kindle book. I have a companion book, The Right Answers to Tough Interview Questions. It's available, again, as a paperback and on Kindle. It has about 170, 180 pages of answers to questions that can help you become better at interviewing. The two together work very well because one teaches you the framework for interviewing that I believe in very strongly, and the other one teaches you answers to questions that are designed to trip you up. Now, I'm not talking about questions in your field. Like, these are not engineering questions if you're an engineer, or software development questions if you're a developer. What it is are the questions that trip you up. You have to be able to demonstrate your knowledge. And if you can't do that, you're in trouble. One of the things my framework does is help you express your ideas in ways that the audience gets you, that the interviewer understands what you're capable of, and allows you to stand out from others. So that's premise number one. So why are they so difficult for me? You're probably an amateur in interviewing. And as a result, you don't show up well on interviews, and that's why you're getting turned down. These will correct it quite a bit. So again, the Ultimate Job Interview Framework is available on Udemy, UDEMY. You can get to that at thebiggamehunter.us/interviews and take the course. Okay. Oh, yes. And then there's mock interviews, where I have an inexpensive mock interview program available at thebiggamehunter.us/mock. That gives you a place to practice. And I review the videos that you record there to help you get better. Last question for today. Why do companies like to use incompetent interviewers when interviewing a candidate? So let me start with a premise. How did you decide they were incompetent? Because they gave you a rough time on the interview? It was a tough interview? Is that what makes them incompetent? Probably. You're getting turned down from jobs. So as a result, you're lashing out at them rather than you taking ownership for the fact that you need to learn how to interview better. So again, it's not about them. It's about you. They're not incompetent. I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back next Friday morning with more. If you've got a question for me, email it to me at thebiggamehunter@gmail.com. In the subject line, put office hours or career coach office hours or something that lets me know that at a minimum you want me to do it for the show. I'd be very happy to help. Visit my website, thebiggamehunter.us. There's a ton in the blog. Plus, you can schedule time for a free discovery call, schedule time for coaching, order my courses, order my books. There's a lot there to help you. Lastly, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/thebiggamehunter. Hope you have a terrific day. And most importantly, be great. Take care.